under attack from cyber criminals. Okay, so from cyber criminals. So the digitization or digitalization of education has made several weaknesses in its systems. This is why schools must take proactive steps to build resilience against cyber attacks. So this is now a common thing. So you cannot prevent this anymore. So what we are going to do is to become more resilient. So by doing so, they can protect these students or their students, staff, and most importantly, the valuable data that your systems are actually storing. So let's see. So that is our thesis statement, guys. So let's go to the next slide. So for the next slide, let's see. Okay. Okay. Now, these are the things that the school faces the cyberstorm. Now, following the thesis statement that I have talked about a while ago, we've established that schools are vulnerable in this digital age. Now, let's dive deeper into the threats they face in this cyberstorm. So, well, it's in the Philippines. It's really very hot now, so looking we are looking forward for rains to come. However, it's really if you are in Cebu right now, I hope it is not as as hot as in Manila. So now let's look at the cyber attacks or cyber risks faced by schools. So we have malicious software. So at the top of our list are ransomware attacks. So this lockdown a school's data and systems, demanding a ransom payment to unlock them. So this can actually cripple a school's operation and disrupt learning. And another is data breaches. Schools store a lot of sensitive data, so in students and staff. So you are actually storing all this data of students, their addresses, everything, even their health data. Okay, sorry about that. So you have um, this can have severe consequences for student privacy and identity theft. So another is phishing or phishing attacks, deceptive phishing. So phishing attacks use legitimate emails or websites to trick staff or students into revealing information or personal information, guys, or clicking on malicious, links. So this can give cyber criminals access to a school's network. So when somebody say tells you that you want something and you have to click a certain link, so please don't do that. Okay, so you have to investigate first what that link is all about. Okay, so there is this denial of service. Okay, denial of service attacks overwhelm a school systems with traffic make them unavailable to legitimate users. So guys, this can disrupt online learning platforms, administrative functions, and communication channels. So denial of service attacks, it disrupts your operations. Another is, I think you know this, cyber bullying in the digital age. This is not actually new, but it takes on a new dimension online. Schools need to be aware of the potential for bullying, and have measures to address it because our students are actually the subject of cyberbullying. So please remember that these are just some of the common cyber risks we actually face in schools. So the landscape is actually evolving. So staying vigilant and informed is really very necessary or very important. Okay, so Okay. So unfortunately, schools face some unique challenges when it comes to cyber security. So let's take a look at some vulnerabilities. So these are lack of cybersecurity awareness among staff and students. Many staff and students may need to become more familiar with the latest cyber threats or on how to identify suspicious activity. But sometimes, well, we are in schools, we are somewhat very lenient when it comes to, cyber attacks. We take them for granted. uh, I hope after this lecture, guys, we need to be very serious about this and take measures to fight, cyber attacks. Failure, to do so, failure to do the cybersecurity awareness can leave us open to phishing scams or other social engineering attacks. So let's look at legacy IT systems that are difficult to secure. If you're using a system that is really old, quite old, then that's a vulnerability. Maybe that system is not equipped with, information security mechanisms inside, embedded systems inside it that will now protect the data, that were stored in that system. Schools often rely on older, IT systems that are difficult and expensive to update. These systems might have known vulnerabilities that hackers really can exploit. Another is limited IT security budgets. I think this is your problem, guys. Our problem. Okay? Schools often have tight budgets, and security may be considered a lower priority than other needs. This can leave them with limited resources for security software, staff training, and system upgrades. So reliance on third-party vendors. Another is reliance on third-party vendors. Okay, so because we don't have we don't have technical people inside the campus, what we usually do is we rely on third-party vendors. So since we rely on them for services like student information systems or online learning platforms, we are now actually vulnerable to cyber attacks. So, however, a security breach at one of these vendors could also, you could also expose student data held by the school. So our overall point here, guys, is these unique vulnerabilities make it challenging for schools to secure their systems and data. However, by being aware of these risks, well, the beginning is always being aware. Schools can take steps to mitigate them and build a more robust cybersecurity posture. Okay. Save your questions later on, guys. I also have a list of questions, but I will first listen to your concerns first before showing you some of the frequently asked questions. Okay. So if you are able to see our um, slides here now, the global cyber attack threat to schools, meaning the cyber attack issues aren't limited to specific region or school size. So let me emphasize the point. This is now a global threat. Cyber attacks on schools, are a global problem. So no matter where school is located, it's a potential target. So even if you're in the Philippines, if you're in Thailand, if you're in Vietnam, even if you're in the United States, much more, all the examples that we're going to use are from the United States and other countries like Europe. So a bit of Asian countries, but more on the US side. Okay, so we have this so-called universal vulnerability. So if you are able to see the map there, everyone is already infected. It's like the COVID-19. Okay, schools in all countries. I am just saying here, guys, that schools in all countries are at risk, regardless of their size or resources. So from large universities to small rural schools, everyone is a potential target. Okay, So this is now a rising threat. So the number of cyber attacks on schools is increasing yearly. This trend, highlights the urgency of prioritizing cybersecurity in educational institutions. So I hope everyone will prioritize their cybersecurity posture after this lecture. Now, why would anyone, you might be asking guys, why would anyone target a school? Well, a couple of reasons make them attractive to cyber criminals. Like what? Schools, it is a treasure trove of data. Schools collect valuable information on students, staff, and parents. Why parents? Of course, you have your parents' database. This can include names, addresses, social security numbers, grades, and financial data, a bit of financial data. Because sometimes you have this social, financial program. So that's why you have to get their income. This information can be used for identity theft, fraud, or targeted phishing attacks. Another is schools have less secure systems. Okay? Schools often have less robust security measures than corporations that invest heavily in cybersecurity. So we have in the Philippines, for example, we have this um, CFIs or critical information uh, infrastructures, no? CI pala, CI. So critical infrastructure. Okay, so because of our limited budgets, in schools, outdated systems, or staff's need for cybersecurity awareness, we are more prone to hackers. So hackers see these weaknesses as more accessible entry point. So while schools may not have the financial resources of a big corporation, the data they hold is still precious to cyber criminals. So we aren't excused when it comes to cyber attacks. So that they give this hackers or these cyber criminals give no mercy, okay, to schools. So let's see, how can we build a strong defense? Okay, schools can build a strong defense against cyber attacks by implementing a comprehensive resilience framework. So these are the words that you have to bear in mind. So this is now the framework. So you have to identify the risk, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Okay, so how is that going to be done? So for identify risks, the first step is you have to identify the risks. The first step is to understand the threats. You have to understand, you have to be very aware. Schools must conduct a risk assessment to identify their vulnerabilities. I think some schools are doing this now, especially those who are into in their certifications phase stages, wherein they do have to identify their the risk assessment. They need to be they need to be accredited or certified. That's why they need to do the first steps. And then what about those who aren't certified? So you still have to do this even on your own. Okay, you may not have, say for example, the necessary templates, but later on, you can ask help, no, from organizations. Later on, we will discuss those organizations that can help you guys, your schools. So the first step is that you have to identify the vulnerabilities, weaknesses of your systems, and the potential threats that you are facing. So cyber attacks like ransomware. And then the next step is you have to protect. Once you understand the risks, schools now can take steps to protect their systems and data. Okay, this includes implementing security measures like firewalls, intrusion detection systems to identify suspicious activity, and data encryption to scramble sensitive information. Now, I think the question will be, the tools are very expensive. Let us discuss that later on. Okay, so let's see how you can avail of some tools that are not really very expensive. Now, the next step is you have to detect. Okay, unfortunately, even with solid defenses, guys, attacks can still happen. Okay, so that's a very strong possibility. Attacks can still happen. Therefore, it is essential to be able to detect them as soon as possible. Okay, detection is a must. Schools can achieve this by using security monitoring tools and procedures to identify suspicious network activity. Okay, so now after the detection phase, let us try to have this response or respond. Having a plan for what to do in case of an attack is actually very crucial. Okay, you need to have a plan. Okay, just as for earth, we have earthquake drills, we have fire drills, and so forth and so on. But we don't have plans for cyber attacks. For some, they don't have plans for cyber attacks. We should have. Okay, so this response plan should have outlined steps to mitigate the damage, like stopping the spread of ransomware, recover from the attack, restore lost data, and prevent future attacks by learning from the incident. So sometimes this is now the default difficult school of experience. You need sometimes to experience it for you to be able to learn, but you don't have, again, as I've been saying to people that I've been interacting with, that you don't have to experience everything this lifetime has to offer, because our lifetime is not enough for us to experience all things. We have to learn from from others' mistakes. Okay, so that's for respond. Then recover. Of course, you have responded, but the damage is already done. So the ability to recover quickly, okay, if you want to recover quickly, okay, and efficiently. This is very essential. So schools need a backup and recovery plan to restore their systems and data after an attack. This minimizes downtime and ensures, okay, educational activities can resume as soon as possible. I remember when this school of mine, when I where I took my masters, there is this cyber attack, and I can't actually request my transcript of records online. So, but they have other mechanisms, so you can still do it online. However, you have to email them. But they have other alternatives. But they are actually prepared for that attack, for some attacks. So that's a very good example. So by following, guys, this framework: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover, schools can build a strong cybersecurity posture and significantly reduce the risks of cyber attacks. Now, let's go to another slide. Let's see the impact. Of course, we do not want to be, attacked but by this, but by these threats. But let's see if, for example, your school is attacked. So these are the impacts. So let's see. Um, Schools can have, a devastating impact on everyone involved. So let's explore. These are actually the consequences of cyber attacks. Disrupted education. Okay? So a cyber attack can significantly disrupt school operations. So for instance, a ransomware attack um, can lock staff and students out of critical systems, hindering communication, attendance tracking, and even access to learning materials. So, for example, imagine your student information system and its enrollment period, so nobody actually can enroll. So you have to you have to revise your calendar of activities. Like for example, you'll be able to resume the activities in 2 weeks time. So that can lead now to cancellation of some activities, like you have programs, you have orientations, and so forth and so on. Okay, now learning time lost. Okay, when schools are forced to deal with a cyber attack, valuable learning time is lost. Students may need to catch up in their studies, and teachers may have to adjust their schedules to catch up. Okay, so there is this financial strain also. Cyber attacks can also cause significant economic losses for schools. So this can include costs associated with data recovery, repairs to damaged systems, legal fees, and even ransom payments, though not recommended. So from this lecture, we are not recommending that we pay ransom payments, because it's not a guarantee that you can take your data back. Okay. There is also this reputational damage. Aside from financial losses, there is this reputational damage. A successful cyber attack, guys, can damage a school's reputation. Parents may lose trust in the school's ability to protect student data, and the school may face negative publicity. So that's one thing that we do not want to happen, specifically if you are a private school. Okay? Another is student privacy concerns. Perhaps the most concerning, actually, I also believe that it is the most concerning thing. Uh, the most concerning consequence is the potential exposure of student privacy. Cyber attacks can lead to the theft of sensitive data, such as student names, addresses, social security numbers, and even grades. So this can have profound implications for student identities and future opportunities. So for the overall impact, cyber attacks on schools are a serious issue. Sometimes we actually take things for granted. Cyber attacks, these are taken for granted on schools, but these are serious issues. So this can ripple effect on students, staff, and the entire school community. So schools must proactively build, guys, their cybersecurity resilience and mitigate this risk for us to be able to prevent this impact. Okay, so let's go to, of course, if there are impacts, there should also be solutions to cyber attacks. So let's see. Fortunately, of course, there are steps schools can take to address cyber attacks and protect themselves from attacks. Okay, so these are some of the critical solutions, as you see from this slide. So first is we have to boost awareness. The first line of defense is always education. We are in the education sector and we are actually aware of this. Okay, we have to increase cybersecurity awareness among staff and students. So this can involve what? Workshops, online training modules, and educational campaigns that teach everyone how to identify suspicious activity, avoid phishing scams, and create strong passwords. Okay, so some schools are now doing their cybersecurity awareness thing. They do it in workshops. They actually have seminars, and they are requiring their staff to do some exams online. These are required so that everyone is going to be aware. Okay, another is we have to fortify our defenses. Schools need to implement strong cybersecurity measures. So this include firewalls to filter incoming traffic, intrusion detection systems to identify malicious activity, and data encryption to protect sensitive information. So regularly updating software and patching vulnerabilities are also important. They are actually very crucial. Okay. Another is we have to plan for the worst. A cyber attack might still happen, even, as I have said a while ago, even with solid defenses, a strong cyber attack can still happen. Therefore, schools need to develop a cybersecurity incident response plan. So this plan should outline steps to take in case of an attack. So including how to isolate the threat, contain the damage, and notify, authorities. Okay. So let us also collaborate and partner with law enforcement. Okay, how is it done? How is this done? Schools should partner with law enforcement to report cyber attacks and seek assistance in investigating them. So law enforcement agencies have expertise in cybercrime and provide valuable resources to schools. So again, as I've said a while ago, we have to increase cybersecurity awareness also, but we have to also invest in training. Okay, cybersecurity training for staff and students, can help foster now the prevention of cyber attacks on schools. Schools should invest in training programs that keep everyone up to date on the latest threats and best practices. Threats are also rapidly growing. So dynamic as IT is a very dynamic field, so with cyber attacks. Okay? Hackers also are upgrading and updating themselves. So upskilling, they are actually upskilling. So this can create a culture, by giving training to your staff. This can create a culture of cybersecurity awareness within the school community. So guys, by implementing these solutions, school can significantly reduce the risks of cyber attacks and protect our data, the valuable data of staff and students. And educational, our operations will actually not be affected if we are going to implement some of this. Okay, hold your questions. I still have a few slides left. Okay, so for the solutions, there are still solutions, guys. Building on the previous slide, I mentioned that importance of having a the importance, I mentioned the importance of having a cybersecurity response plan. So let's go into that into that in details. Okay, so let's plan for the storm. A cybersecurity incident response plan basically is a roadmap for schools to follow in the event of a cyber attack. So think of it as an emergency plan for the digital world. Okay? So what is this? So we have to define the roles. There are defined roles, like the plan should clearly outline staff roles and responsibilities. Who will take the lead in containing the attack? How will communication flow between IT staff, administrators, and teachers if there is an attack? Okay? Communication is also the key. Okay? The plan should also include clear communication procedures. So this should cover how to notify parents, students, and even the public, depending on the severity. Okay? You have to inform these people about the attack and any potential consequences. So transparency and clear communication are crucial during a crisis. But sometimes, I don't know why schools are holding those info. Sometimes maybe, well, they have their reasons. So let's respect their reasons. However, we need to inform all those people, all those concerned people. Please remember that with a well-defined response plan, schools can react quickly and efficiently to a cyber attack, minimizing damage and downtime. Okay? So because if you are going to let it continue, downtime will take longer, and of course the cost will become, the amount is going to really shoot up. Okay. Now, for the partnering with law enforcement, beyond our school walls, we can implement our defenses. Cyber attacks, basically, cyber attacks are very sophisticated. So that's why schools need to partner with law enforcement. So we have to report And you have to report and let them investigate. Schools should report cyber attacks to law enforcement agencies, like because they have the expertise and resources to investigate such crimes, track down perpetrators, and potentially recover stolen data. Well, we are hoping that we can still recover the data. So collaboration is also key. So by working together, schools and law enforcement can present a united front against cyber criminals, okay, and improve educational institution, cybersecurity overall. So it all comes down, guys, to education and awareness. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, let me just show you. So while we have discussed the cyberstorm, the impact, and the solutions, the possible solutions, let's now take a look at the recent cyber attack cases. Okay, so what are these? So you can take a look at the I have placed, I just copied and paste, so you can get the site there, the website. So just this March 24, 2024, I opened it last week, or last say 2 days ago. But I guess there are new cases now. Okay, so the University of Winnipeg, just the other week, March 24, 2024, uh, University of Winnipeg fell victim to a cyber attack. So another is that across the globe on Feb 22nd and 27th, this 2024, a university hospital and a University of Applied Sciences in Germany were also hit by cyber attacks. So these are just a few recent examples, and the list keeps growing. This emphasizes, guys, the urgency of all sizes and locations to prioritize cybersecurity. So you might want to open this, and you see that these schools, you can see the impact that these cyber attacks did to their schools. Okay, so let's focus on the worrying trend of cyber attacks on educational institutions. While we discuss some recent attacks in March, it is also important to note, guys, that universities like the University of Central Missouri, University in Hong Kong, and Reykjavik University in Iceland. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, forgive me if these are not pronounced well. These schools were all targeted earlier this year between January and February 2024. So again, if you want to look at this uh, sites, you can actually go there. From the same source, you will find a recorded incident in 2023 at a famous university in the Philippines. It's not UP, but a university in the Philippines. So if you are going to look at it, you'll see sometime in say November or September, this university was also attacked. Okay, so that's why I was telling you a while ago that I cannot actually request my transcript of records because of that attack. Okay, following on the growing cyber attacks. Let's see. Okay. The good news is schools don't have to fight this battle alone. Okay. Several international organizations offer valuable resources to help schools build their cybersecurity resilience, like UNESCO Cybersecurity Toolkit. So this is developed by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. This cybersecurity and education toolkit provides comprehensive guidance. So this covers, cybersecurity awareness, best practices, and resources for educators, policymakers, and students as well. A key strength is that this toolkit is available in multiple languages. So please take note of that, making it accessible to a wider audience worldwide. So again, there is this, if you are in these regions, focusing on Europe, the InSafe network is a collaborative effort by European education ministries and non-government offices. Their goal is to promote safer internet for children. They offer valuable resources and training programs to educate educators and students about security. Now, let's go to the International Telecommunication Union, the ITU, a specialized agency of the United Nations, is another excellent resource. They offer a variety of resources on cybersecurity, including some specifically tailored toward the needs of educational institutions. And then we have World Economic Forum Center for Cybersecurity. Okay, so looking at the bigger picture, the World Economic Forum Center for Cybersecurity tackles global security challenges. So they offer valuable um, resources and guidance on best practices for various sectors, including education. By taking advantage of these resources and implementing the solutions we discussed earlier, schools can strengthen their defenses against cyber attacks and protect their valuable data and educational mission. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. In addition to the international resources I mentioned earlier, there are also valuable options available at the regional level. So let's focus on the specific regions, like, for example, the Americas. Schools in the Americas can benefit from resources offered by the Organization of American States, or the OWAS. So this Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism has a dedicated security working group. This group develops resources and fosters cooperation on cybersecurity issues among member states. So additionally, while based in the US, the National Cybersecurity Alliance's Stop, Think, Connect campaign offers valuable training on cybersecurity awareness that can be applied globally. Another is this Asia Pacific. Okay, schools in the Asia Pacific region can leverage resources from the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, or the APEC. Their working group on telecommunications and information is crucial in developing resources and promoting regional cybersecurity collaboration. Although Australian-based, the Australian Cybersecurity Center, or ACSC, offers a range of cybersecurity resources and guidance, including materials specifically designed for educational institutions. So for European schools can access the European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, or ENISA, resources. So this leading EU agency provides cybersecurity expertise and guidance for member states. So their resources can be precious due to their regional focus. Similar to the ACSC, the United Kingdom's National Cybersecurity Center, or NCSC, offers a variety of cybersecurity resources, including some specifically designed for schools, even though they are based in the UK. So this is an encouragement, guys, encouragement to research. This is not an exhaustive list, so you can go further. In many other regional organizations and government agencies offer resources of cybersecurity. I am therefore encouraging you to research the available resources in your specific region, because there are a lot of resources that you can. When I was researching for this talk, I was actually amazed on how these organizations are practically collaborating with schools. Okay. I think I need to go. And since there are a lot of Filipinos here in the platform, in the call, I would like to talk about resources available here in the Philippines to help schools build resilience against cyber attacks. So if you heard of the CERT PAs or Computer Emergency Response Team, we have a solid organization called CERT PAs, the Computer Emergency Response Team. It is a non-profit registered CERT in the Philippines, and they are a valuable resource for schools. So uh, you can actually look at the details in their website. This this nonprofit is the first registered CERT in the Philippines, and they are available resource again, as I've said, for schools. So we have our DICT. So the DICT, it is a government agency that really plays a vital role and is responsible for developing and implementing the National Cybersecurity Plan, which outlines strategies to improve cybersecurity across the Philippines. So likely, they also offer resources advisories specifically relevant to cybersecurity in schools. So be sure to check their website also. And we have NBI, or the National Bureau of Investigation. So everyone here who are Filipinos are very familiar about these agencies for DICT and NBI. I think only the CERT is new to you. Okay, so the National Bureau of Investigation is a crucial resource in the unfortunate event that a school experiences when a school experiences a major cyber attack. So the NBI investigates cybercrimes in the Philippines. So guys, remember, cyber attack to the NBI can be essential for pursuing legal action against the perpetrators. So of course, you know their websites. Uh, so these are just some of the essential resources available in the Philippines. Please feel free to explore other organizations and learn more about how they can help, no, your school and better prepare you for the coming cyber threats. Or it's not anymore coming, they are actually ongoing. So by leveraging international, regional, and local resources, schools in the Philippines can significantly strengthen their cybersecurity defenses and create a safer digital environment for everyone. Okay, so while you are thinking of your questions, let me just give you a recap, no, on the problem and its importance. As we have discussed, schools today face a growing threat from cyber criminals. So the increasing reliance on technology in education has also created vulnerabilities that cyber criminals can exploit. So these attacks can devastate schools, causing disruption, financial loss, and even damage to student privacy. So we have discussed about solutions and resources. The good news is that schools basically are not powerless. They can significantly reduce their risk by taking proactive steps to build resilience against cyber attacks. So this includes identifying risks through regular assessments, detecting cyber attacks uh, quickly with monitoring tools, responding to attacks effectively with a predetermined plan, and recovering from attacks efficiently with backups and recovery procedures. So we have also explored many resources available to help schools in this fight, including international organizations, regional programs, and even resources in the Philippines. Okay, after all this, I would like to encourage you to take action and prioritize, especially for those who are administrators here, no? Prioritize cybersecurity in your schools. By working together, we can create a safer digital learning environment for our students to ensure that technology remains a powerful tool for education, not a vulnerability. And with that, guys, I would like to give you this image. This image captures the essence of what we have discussed today. Even in adversity, we can find the strength and determination to persevere. By focusing on what truly matters, we can cultivate hope and build resilience. Guys, I'm now ready to answer your questions. Do you have questions? Thank you.
Anyone from the participants, if they have any question, please go ahead.
I would like to listen to your questions first before I give you some of the frequently asked questions. Any questions? None yet. So let me just let me you can put your questions in the chat. Okay.
Okay,
So
we have one question already.
okay. The question here is question. Let me see. Our school has limited IT staff and resources. What are some cost-effective ways to improve our cybersecurity? There are several cost-effective ways to improve cybersecurity. So these are some of the few suggestions, guys. Okay. So focus on free resources. Utilize free training modules like the one I have given you a while ago from CertPH or international bodies like UNESCO. And then prioritize awareness training. Invest in basic cybersecurity awareness training for your staff and your students. Also, you can implement open source security tools. Now, you can explore open source security software, firewalls, and vulnerability scanning tasks. So they are actually available. I'll give you the site later on. While they may require some technical expertise, they can be a cost-effective alternative to commercial solutions. Okay, so does that answer your question? As I am emphasizing on free resources because I am sure everyone here is into really very they have tight budget when it comes to cybersecurity um, things. Okay. Another question. Thank
Hi,
you.
Ma'am Rose.
Yes, Grace.
Hello, good morning. Thank you,
Morning.
ma'am, for your very informative presentation po. And I just would like to ask because recently a lot of schools, including the school that I am connected now, is
Mm-hmm.
experiencing cyber bomb threat attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how can you suggest po, ma'am, the way of responding those cyber bomb threat attacks? Because recently what our we did in our school is to automatically suspend the classes. I just would like to ask, how are we going to respond those cyber bomb attacks po? Thank you, Ma'am Rose.
Okay. So these are threats, correct? These are
Yes,
threats.
yes po.
Uh, do you have an incident response plan already in place? Not yet.
Not yet po, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh, Apo.
Okay. I suggest that you have one because you will have to identify the most the most uh the most what do you call this critical you have to identify the most critical parts. That's why you don't have to say, just don't have to say, suspend your classes. Because if you have the plan, you are already going to identify what needs to be done. Okay. Now, in case you still do not have this incident response plan, and you now have, how long have you been having this uh say cyber bomb attacks,
Uh,
threats?
just last month po, ma'am, we experienced twice that kind of cyber bomb attacks. But I believe it's a false
False
alarm.
alarm.
We just have to suspend the classes. Um, yeah,
Okay,
that's what we had.
because it's been months, you should have done the response plan by now. Meaning, if this is going to happen again, you know what you're going to do. Because suspension of classes is the last, it should be the last thing to do. So what you should be doing is to investigate first, and then write those things that have say that happened, and then see what course of actions to take for your school, no? Because this might be true also. Okay, this might be
Yes.
true. So what you're going to do is that you have several things in mind that you should be doing first for cyber attacks. Another is you have, because uh this has been done twice, so perhaps you can already report this to the local enforcement agencies that I've
Yes,
talked about.
yes. Yes
Okay.
po. This was already coordinated to the law
Oh,
enforcement po
good.
ng ano.
Okay. Of your what is school? I'm sorry, if that is okay. So this is in the Philippines, correct? So you have already identified, and then they will give you the resources. They will give you the resources for that. But the first thing that you should be doing now is to have, first is you have cybersecurity awareness being given to your students, to all the staff, to all the people in the university or in your school. And then afterwards, you have to now, in parallel, what you should be doing right now is to also build the cybersecurity response plan.
Opo, opo.
Just as you have the response plan for earthquakes, fire, etc., you treat this as a disaster also. Okay?
Yes po. Noted. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes,
Rose.
Grace.
Salamat po.
Another question, guys? Okay, so if you don't have questions, let me just show you some of the frequently, the one asked by Mom Dem a while ago is actually a frequently an FAQ. So I build an FAQ for you to uh, practically say if these questions are ah why is it some links are always, well, it's kind of phishing din to. Okay, so don't just give in to all these links that they are giving you, guys. From now on, please don't click links. No, these are basically scams, and these are the worst thing to happen to you is that it's not a scam. It is a link specifically for people who are holding high positions and high positions in the IT sector, and they are, once your account is hacked, then they will be given, they will be given access to all the, to all the systems in the university or in your school. That's why they are, some of this are, targeting those administrators. So that's why this administrators should always be in the lookout. They should be really very aware of the cyber attacks, no? Database administrators, system administrators. So of course they know what they're doing. Okay. Sometimes they give you things like you cannot resist, like you won something, or you are, I would like to blah blah blah, and then you are enticed, and then you open the link and then press. That's it. Now you'll know on your cyber attack journey. Okay. So let me just share some of the frequently asked questions. If you notice, I have another presentation just in case you don't ask questions, but there were two questions already. So I think I have this. So this one, what specific security measures, okay? What specific security measures can be, okay, can we take to protect student data, especially on personal devices they bring on school? And let me give you the answer. Yan. Here are some measures to protect student data on personal devices. Okay? So if you have this one, implement a BYOD policy. So establish clear guidelines for students using personal devices on the school network. So if you are letting your students use the school network, then you have to also have a BYOD policy. So this policy should outline acceptable use, security requirements, strong passwords, of course, antivirus software, and consequences for violations, because you should protect your network. Okay? Now, educate students on data security also. You have to teach your students about responsible online behavior, avoiding suspicious links and downloads. That's why if they are offering you work, because some of the students would like to really get to work now, and they are given links. And if they are in your network, okay, and then if they are in your network and they get these links, okay, so they should not share also information, personal information online. Explore data encryption options, like consider data encryption solutions for sensitive student information stored on school devices or student laptops if appropriate. Okay, so encryption, like although this will lessen the speed of your systems, but this is also a measure that you can take uh, for you not to expose the data of your students. So you can implement encryption. So this is another question. So let me see the chat. Okay, no more questions. So how can we encourage a culture of cybersecurity awareness within our school community? This can be your question. So I'm assuming that this can be your question too, no? Let's see. So I also gave the answer there. Here are some ways to promote a culture of cybersecurity awareness. Integrate cybersecurity lessons into the curriculum. If you are a BSIT student, there is this, I guess, there are now included a number of units for information security. It is already a requirement. Okay, but for other you see, for other programs, so you can integrate. So AIDS appropriate cybersecurity lessons can be incorporated into subjects like computer science, because they have intro to IT, English, like for example, internet safety and online communication, because you are actually teaching them how to communicate online. So you can inject cybersecurity awareness there, and social studies like responsible digital citizenship. Okay. So you also can organize cybersecurity awareness campaigns, like you can hold events or contests throughout the year to keep security top of mind for staff, students, and parents. So without them knowing, you are already including, you are already making them aware of these cybersecurity things. And also, guys, please lead by example. So school administrators and teachers can set a positive example by practicing good cybersecurity habits and using technology responsibly. Okay? So don't just post also. Don't just post, for example, if you have a new car, and then you have you are going to show your new car and together with the plate number and so forth and so on. Okay, so you are now subject to cybersecurity attack. Okay, so also you just don't place ATM, so you are now in perhaps Starbucks or whatever. So people who are cybersecurity aware are not doing those things anymore. Okay, so because these are some venues, no, these are venues for cybersecurity attacks. So you don't know, somebody might be stalking and get all your information and know where your whereabouts. So there you go. What legal considerations should we be aware of regarding student data privacy and cyber attacks? So these are some of the legal considerations. I did not talk about this a while ago, but perhaps this is one of your questions. Let's see, what are these legal considerations? So, schools should be familiar with their region's data privacy laws and regulations, such as DPA of 2012 in the Philippines. So we have in the Philippines Data Privacy Act of 2012, but it was implemented in 2016. So understanding these regulations, um, help school ensure they are collecting, storing, and using student data responsibly. That's why in every event, when we are trying to get the information of everyone attending the event or conference, what we do is that we tell them how we are going, why we are collecting the data, how are we going to store it, and how are we going to dispose this. Okay. So additionally, following legal protocols for reporting the incident and notifying affected individuals is crucial in the event of a cyber attack. Say, for example, you are storing their information and somehow you are attacked by some by some by some of the cyber attack things that we have discussed a while ago. So you have to inform these people. Consulting with a lawyer specializing in data privacy also can be helpful. We have already a lot of those uh, lawyers in the Philippines, if you are in the Philippines. Okay. Another question is, how can we measure the effectiveness of our cybersecurity efforts? Okay. So Queenie, I'm sorry. Okay, so there is a question here. So Queenie, where is WebStorm used? What is the difference with code analysis and refactoring? How is WebStorm different from other coding languages? So let me just see that later on, guys. Okay, so Queenie, please hang on. Okay, so for the WebStorm, I just saw the CyberStorm. Okay. So how can we measure the effectiveness of our cybersecurity efforts? So let's see. What you can do is to regularly assess your cybersecurity posture by conducting vulnerability scans, penetration testing. You have the simulated cyber attacks and reviewing security logs. Track key metrics such as phishing attempts, black or suspicious activity detected. So these assessments help identify areas for improvement and demonstrate the value of your existing cybersecurity measures, just like what you are now doing with your policies. So what you do is you have periodic assessment, di ba? Periodic, say you have to review all this implemented policies that you are now following in your schools, that you are implementing in your schools. So just as you do that, but the frequency should be, say, for auditors, they are actually saying that you have to do this every quarter. But for other companies, they find the quarterly assessment as quite, very taxing. That's why they do it semi-annually or semestral based, and sometimes annually is too long. I guess that is too long. And then the semi-annually is quite a bit acceptable. But as I have said, uh, quarterly is quite the ideal. Okay, so this is another question. Our school uses many educational technology platforms and online tools. How can we ensure that these third-party vendors are also practicing good cybersecurity? Say, for example, you have you are implementing a student information system, and you are subscribing from a vendor. Okay, because this is less expensive. Perhaps this is less expensive according to your the cost benefit analysis that you have done. Okay, so what can you do to protect yourselves, because you don't know what they're doing. Okay, so investigating the vendor security practices when choosing educational technology platforms. So you have to investigate. Here are some steps that you can take. Review their security policies. Look for information on their website or request documentation. Guys, especially those who are in the administration sector, in schools, please please assess the vendor. Okay, it is okay that you are going to get the cheaper ones. However, please look at the quality. Okay, please look at the quality of the systems and the policies they are implementing. Okay, you can look the information on their website or request documentation outlining their data security measures, user access controls, and incident response procedures. So you can demand this from the vendors. Inquire about industry certifications. They should be certified like SOC 2 or SOC 2 or ISO 27001. So this demonstrates a vendor's commitment to best practices for data security. So ISO 27001 is all about information security. Check online reviews. So see if other schools or educational institutions have raised concerns about the vendors' security practices. You can compare that with how you are shopping from, say, e-commerce sites. Like you need to get the feedbacks first, correct? Uh, and when you see that there are all these, they all the feedbacks are positive, then you are going to buy that item. However, if you see, for example, one negative item, you are you are actually having second thoughts of buying that item. Okay, just one. Let's say you have 100 positive feedbacks, but there is one negative feedback. That also will make you think about purchasing that product. Okay. Another question could be, okay, but these are FAQs, guys. So these are these were raised before. Cybersecurity is a very technical field. So what role can non-technical staff members like myself play in improving our school cybersecurity posture? Like, for example, if you are not a technical person, but you are very interested in securing your systems, and you would like to become a part of this cybersecurity you know cybersecurity thing, or you'd like to ensure that you are not attacked, that you will not be attacked by cybersecurity criminals. Okay, so everyone has a role in cybersecurity. So as I've said, so here are some things that you can contribute. Be aware of phishing attacks, phishing scams. So educate yourself on identifying phishing emails and suspicious links. So please report any such attempts, to the IT department so they can investigate and prevent others from falling victim. Practice good password hygiene. Okay. So use strong passwords and don't share them with anyone. Of course, do not place your passwords, di ba, on your screen or anywhere. Okay. Be mindful. Uh, Also enable two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication whenever possible for added security. If you're using Facebook, uh, or Messenger, there is also this, OTPs. These are the pins that you're going to do when you are using another device. So you have, uh, 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 if you have one device and then you add another device, Messenger will be asking you for the pin. Okay, so Meta is actually doing a lot of cybersecurity measures recently. So, okay, be mindful also of what you are sharing online. So, avoid sharing sensitive information about yourself or the school on social media or public platforms. Okay, so please be mindful. It is good to share some things. However, please be mindful about those things. Okay? So sometimes we are triggered by sometimes because we are very excited, but please be mindful before you click. Before you click, think. That's why there is this um, uh, what's this tagline? Click, think before you click. Okay. So another question here is cyber attacks are constantly evolving. How can we stay up to date on the latest cybersecurity threats and best practices? Okay. So you can do this. Subscribe to security alerts and advisories. These are free, guys. So you can always do this. Organizations like CertPAs or reputable cybersecurity firms often provide free email alerts or advisories on the latest threats and vulnerabilities. So follow cybersecurity news sources and then attend cybersecurity workshops or webinars. Sometimes they say the same things, but please look at the differences. They could be giving you new things. Okay, so there you go. This one. We've heard about cyber insurance for businesses. Yes, this is true. Cyber insurance a good option for schools? So let me answer that with this. Okay. Cyber insurance can be valuable for schools, specifically, especially considering the rising number of cyber attacks on educational institutions. But here are some of the things that you should consider. So the coverage options, cyber insurance policies can vary in scope, and sometimes these are expensive. Choose one that covers the specific needs of your school, such as data breaches, ransomware attacks, or even legal costs associated with the cyber attack. And then perform a CBA. You weigh the cost of the cyber insurance premium against the potential financial losses your school could face in a cyber attack. Okay, so the insurance might be more expensive than the cyber attack. Okay, preventive measures. Cyber insurance should be a complementary strategy, not a replacement for solid cybersecurity practices. Yes, I think you know that. And focus on prevention first, and then consider insurance as a safety net. Another is what are some of the ethical considerations schools need to keep in mind when implementing cybersecurity measures? So, ethical considerations, guys. Can somebody uh can somebody answer this for for us to uh more? Let me just see if you can answer this. Okay, there is. Sorry for that noise. Okay, uh before I go to that question, there is a question here, Doc, but most of the time the teens are the victims of those links sometimes and content of cyber sex or violent games. How can we protect them from this? First is awareness. Okay, awareness. Awareness discusses the basic things like phishing attacks. So these are links that they shouldn't be clicking or say enter into these links. So um, another question here: how can we protect them from this? Of course, you have a lot of policies regarding, when you use your BYOD. This is one of the BYOD. This can be included in your BYOD policies. Okay, so there should be sanctions also. If of course that, but you have to make them aware also. When you implement policies, you have to discuss all those policies. Okay, they should be able to understand also. Okay, so what's this? From Marlu, you have breach of students' data. Okay. Um, that is why I was telling you a while ago that if it is possible, uh, if it is possible, you can encrypt. Please encrypt, no? Please encrypt the personal data of students. Okay, so that when cyber attacks are performed or are done, at least your students' data are encrypted. Okay, confidentiality. Yes, we should exercise confidentiality. Steven says, I think student privacy and transparency when collecting necessary data from students. Yes, sometimes we aren't concerned that sometimes, say, your attendance as a teacher, if you're a teacher, and then you take attendance and you tell them to also please place to place their emails, their email addresses, and their phone numbers while this paper is being distributed inside the class. That is also a violation of the Data Privacy Act. So you shouldn't let anyone seeing those information, those personal information of these people, no, while you are getting the attendance. Names, the name is okay, but getting more than that, say their addresses, their phone numbers, their email addresses, you are now violating this Data Privacy Act. Okay, so when you are collecting data also, you should be at least other people won't be able to see those data while they are encoding or while they are writing those information. Okay, there is another. Okay, so I think let's go further and discuss. By the way, um, for the WebStorm, what we usually do for codes is that we have this. Our developers are now being educated, or they are trained to do, secured coding. Secured coding, because you can already embed security inside your system, inside the codes. Before, we do not usually do that, and we let our information security secure our systems. However, nowadays we let our developers now study secured coding. So the security now is two-prong. When I say multi-prong, meaning while building the systems, you are already embedding the necessary security measures that you can do as a developer. And then once the system, and then vulnerability testing will be done now by the information security, and our quality assurance will also do the same. So VAPT, vulnerability and penetration testing will be done by the information security group. And then before, all these things should be done before now deploying the system. Okay, and I hope now those vendors in which you are uh, say getting in which these systems are being, are being distributed by these contractors to your school. They are also aware of these things. Like of course, you have to evaluate their capabilities when it comes to to information security. So inside the programs, inside the systems that they have built for you, so you are able to also investigate that that they are using secured coding. Plus, of course, it went through a VAPT, not before the deployment. So vulnerability and penetration testing was done. Okay, before this system, for example, if this is a student information system, this is done before the implementation or before the deployment. Now, in case this system, because for example, this system has been deployed for quite some time now and it has become a legacy system, you try to perform vulnerability testing. And for example, if there are findings for vulnerabilities, okay, communicate with your vendor, collaborate with your vendor, and let them inject or let them say, give some measures or say put some patches for you to be able to for them to be able to exercise security inside those systems. Okay, because sometimes we do not know what they're doing with and they hold our data. Okay, so the students' data. So imagine if you are a very large school and they are holding all your data, then well those data are actually vulnerable. Jemima says, Jemima Arce, I think filtering software might block legitimate educational resources. Schools need to ensure equitable access to technology for all students. Sometimes, guys, please strike a balance. Okay. Sometimes we information security awareness and being very deep into it. Okay, specifically if you are into you have uh, you have dived deeply into these information security things. Paranoia can be there is this warning for paranoia. So meaning you have to strike a balance between information security and the availability thing. So please take note of the information security triad, or you say CIA. So we have confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Please take note that there is this availability thing. If you are protected, you should be protected and you maintain the confidentiality and integrity of your data. But also, please make them available. So you have to exercise measures. So thank you for this, Miss Sahu, because sometimes people can get paranoid on information security. That's why everything everything is now being secured. So you can now those educational resources cannot be seen anymore. Okay, you have to strike a balance. Okay, so thank you for those. Uh, Sorry if I took your precious time, but these are only a few things. There are only a few things more. So what are of the ethical considerations? I think we discussed that a while ago. So just like what I've said a while ago on striking a balance between security and student privacy, it is also important to look at some of these considerations, ethical considerations, privacy concerns, security measures should not be overly intrusive or violate student privacy. So be transparent about the data collected and how it's used. Focus on education. um, Cybersecurity awareness training should empower students to make responsible choices online. But this doesn't hinder you from getting information, like making you more informed. Okay? So sometimes because of because of information security, you did not strike a balance on information security and getting the information on availability. So what happens is that you do not want to open your internet anymore. So don't do that. Open communication, maintain open communication with students, parents, staff about cybersecurity policies and procedures. Okay? So there. Uh, well, beside beyond ransomware, what other threats are there? So I've been talking about ransomware. So you have spyware, adware, diba? Software that bombards users with unwanted advertisements. You have a lot because of AI. You are now bombarded with adwares, yeah, viruses, worms, Trojan horses, yeah, and yeah, schools should install anti-malware software and stay updated to protect against these diverse threats. Okay. Okay. So later on, let me see, Faith, how we can answer your question. Uh, Let me just finish this one. So we have limited bandwidth. How can we balance the need for strong passwords? So because as I've told you a while ago, schools can have a limited budget for for strong bandwidth. So you can encourage password managers. Student can use password managers applications to store strong unique passwords. You can implement, as I've told a while ago, again, MFA or 2FA, focus on password strength training. So, well, I think everyone knows this because all applications now, all online applications now are using MFA, and they are requiring us to enter strong passwords, and they also have this application if your password is strong or not. Okay, so moving on. What are some specific examples of how cyber attacks can disrupt school operations? Okay, so you have DDoS, data breaches, and ransomware attacks. So this one can overwhelm school servers, making online learning platforms, administrative functions, even communication channels. I think I have discussed this in my talk a while ago. Okay, this one. How can you involve students in cybersecurity efforts? How can we do that, guys? Okay, how can we do that? Can anyone can anyone answer? Okay, awareness training, yes, by encouraging them to join campaigns and activities that relates to cybersecurity. Thank you. You're correct, guys. Okay. So this is the formal answer, pero you have all the answers correctly given. Now let's see. Now please answer this question. What are these emerging things? What are these emerging things, guys? What are some of the emerging cybersecurity threats that schools should be aware of? So, eto. So these are, sorry, I'm speaking in Tagalog already. Social engineering, attacks manipulate people into revealing sensitive information. These people are posing as good people, uh, sales talking you into something, okay? May target students or staff through social media or phishing emails that appear to come from legitimate sources. Then supply chain attacks. This one is, these are emerging cyber attacks. Cyber criminals may target software vendors or educational technology platforms school use. So a successful attack on a vendor could compromise the security of multiple schools using their products. This is something. It's not your school anymore. It's not the only school that they are targeting anymore. But the supply chain attack can actually uh, can actually attack several schools depending on the number of clients that this vendor has. Okay? AI-powered attacks. So these are now the emerging, if there are emerging technologies, there are emerging cyber attacks also. So AI-powered attacks. cyber criminals increasingly use artificial intelligence to automate attacks. Automate the attack is not anymore that they can put in the timeline, etc., making them more sophisticated and challenging to detect. So schools can be better prepared to defend themselves by staying informed about these emerging threats. Okay, so let me just see. Wow, very nice. Gina says, encourage students with empathy. Okay, so hacking, I guess you are uh, saying about the emerging cyber attacks, no? Emerging cyber attacks. Okay, thank you. Uh, you're helping me discuss things. Okay. Are there open source tools for cyber security? Yes, there are. Along with this, of course, comes some warning also. So these are a few examples. Network security and scanning, NMAP or network mapper. This is a powerful free and open source network discovery and scanning tool. It allows you to identify devices, operating systems, and services running on your network, helping to identify potential vulnerabilities. OpenVAS, again, is an open vulnerability assessment scanner. So another free and open source tool that scans systems for known vulnerabilities. Wireshark is another, a popular network protocol analyzer that allows you to capture and inspect network traffic. So this can help troubleshoot network issues and detect suspicious activities. Okay, so for web application security, okay, so open web application security, basically, this is an open source web application security scanner, so it can help identify vulnerabilities in web apps like those used by your schools or other learning or your online learning platform or website. Okay, and then you have this KeyPass XC or password management for student staff. This is encrypted. So a free and open source password manager that allows users to store strong, unique passwords for different accounts in an encrypted vault. So while students wouldn't directly manage a school-wide password vault, this could be a good option for teachers or staff to manage their login credentials. So when I say open source, these are free. Okay? Incident response and forensics. So you can use OSSEC or open source security event correlation. So this is a free and open source host-based intrusion detection system or HIDS that monitors logs and system activity for suspicious behavior. Logstalgia, an open source log analysis tool that can help you search, filter, and analyze log data from various sources in your network. So this can be helpful, guys, for incident response and forensic investigations. Okay, so forensic meaning you go deep dive into the heart of the issue. Okay? However, it is important to remember that while open source tools offer a cost-effective option, guys, they may require some technical expertise to set up and use effectively. So schools should assess their needs and technical capabilities before implementing cybersecurity tools. Open source tools may not provide the same support or features as commercial solutions. But then again, mind you that these are expensive tools. But if your school can get this, they have the financial capability, you have the financial capability, please do so. Okay, open source security foundation, so you can additional resources. This site can help you do these things. A non-profit org promoting collaboration to improve open source security. So this website, guys, has a directory of open source security tools that you can explore further. Okay, so uh, do you know? Please feel free to put in the sites or links for open source security uh, open source security things. Okay, open security tools. Now let's go to. Let me just stop sharing and. Okay, I thought. So for Queenie, although we aren't using in my line of work, we aren't using WebStorm. However, as defined, it is basically a tool primarily for web development. So it is an integrated environment specifically designed to provide powerful and efficient environment technologies, particularly those involving JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS. So WebStorm, but this is a very good tool. Perhaps let me just explore this further later. Offers extensive support for these languages, making this ideal for building modern web applications. So in your question, you said that so there is something happening. Code analysis versus refactoring in WebStorm. In WebStorm. So code analysis, it's basically you inspect, correct me if I'm wrong, if you want to give some details also on this, because I haven't used WebStorm yet. So code analysis is inspecting your code for errors, potential issues, and areas for improvement. So you have to identify typos, syntax errors, logical mistakes, and code smells, indications of poorly structured code. And WebStorm offers real-time analysis, so it's very good, highlighting problems as you code, helping you write cleaner code from the start. So WebStorm offers real-time analysis, highlighting problems as you code, helping you write cleaner. So uh, refactoring is basically the process of restructuring existing code without changing its functionality. Okay, usually we do this for developers. You usually do this if you want to restructure, if you want to improve code readability, maintainability, and say reusability. So WebStorm provides safe refactoring tools for tasks like renaming variables and functions across your code base, extracting components, and reorganizing code structure. Okay, so I think that's basically a very minimum knowledge, my minimum knowledge of WebStorm. Okay, so but this is a very good uh, I have no slide for the web, Miss Sahu. I don't have a slide for that one because um that is a question raised by Miss Queenie. And thank you for that question, because I was able to I was able to identify. I know code analysis and code refactoring, but WebStorm is something that it's not new, but I was given I was messaged by somebody what WebStorm is, and I took time to read that. And I think I have I'd be able to also research on that and see if we can use that in in the corporation where I work with. But of course, we have to do some VAPTs before using, if this is an open source thing, um, this is going to be the one that is having this code analysis. I want it. So thank you, Miss Queenie. Thank you for that sharing of. Thank you for that question. Are there other questions? Because if there are no more questions, guys, I think I have said enough, and I'm sure you're already very hungry. Any sorry, I have to open my video. Any questions? No more questions. So I think if there are no more questions, Miss Sahu, thank you guys for listening. I'm now giving
Thank
the
you.
floor to Miss Sahu. Thank you so much.
That's really a very enlightening webinar today with you, Ma'am Escobar. We are very much delighted to have you in our today with you. Thank you everyone to be in this forum. And if you guys have any kind of questions, you can let me know later, and I'll just pass this to Ma'am Escobar so that she can answer, and I'll get back to you with her answers. Hope that is fine for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Can
guys.
we have a group picture, guys? If you can open the cameras. So let's start. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you.
So there are 4 screens. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. There is an announcement. There
Thank you,
is an
everyone. Thank you,
announcement.
Meet. There is an
We have
announcement.
a conference tomorrow. It's our 7th international conference, Management, Education, and Technology. So we will be floating the live streaming link again. So if anybody is interested, they can join us. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank
Yeah. Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much. See you.
See you.